Today we're answering one simple question. Which of these steaks has a better sear and overall flavor? We've got ghee, we've got tallow, we've got mayo, and something a little different. Let's get into it. What's up, barbecue fans? My name is Jake, and today we're talking steak. So recently I did a video with a big old tomahawk, and I showed you why there was a better alternative to reverse sear. Today we're taking that up a notch, and we're looking at 4 different steaks. 3 of them, I'm gonna add a searing sauce on them, and the 4th one, I'm gonna cook like I cooked the tomahawk. And in the end, we're gonna figure out which one has more flavor, which one has a better sear, and which one you guys should do going forward. Before we can bring out the star of the show, we gotta get our Kamado fired up. So let's do that. We're gonna use some Bear Mountain lump today. And what we're doing is I'm gonna reverse sear 3 of them out of the heat. And then while they're resting, I'm gonna take care of the 4th one, and we'll see how we do. So let me bring in here, we'll fill this guy up and get some heat rolling. All right, so we've got our hot side here. This is where our steaks here are gonna go indirect, and then we'll put in the bottom grates and sear over top of them in a little bit. We'll let this guy get the temperature here. Gonna go about 3/4 away on the bottom. Go a few turns open on the top. We're gonna let some heat get into this guy. So we're not using any wood today, just the Bear Mountain lump. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let this guy get a little heat soaked, and we're gonna get us up to 250. Right now I've got the bottom vent open about 3/4 of the way, and this guy's open, I think, 2 turns, 2.5 turns. As we get closer to that 250, we're gonna dial it all down and slow down our fire. And then what we'll do is we will go get our steaks. Now the steaks yesterday, I didn't put this on camera, but I did dry brine them, got them out of the package, and put some salt on them, and then they went in the fridge for, I think about 18 hours at this point. Let's talk beef. So here I have 4 identical New York strips. They're bone-in, they're dry-aged. They're from North 36 Farms. North 36 Farms is a new friend of the channel. I've been eating their beef for 3 or 4 months at this point in time, and I've eaten a ton of it because I do like me some beef. And they reached out and asked if we could work together. And I said, of course, but you've got to give my audience a good discount, and boy, did they deliver. So here's how it works. If you spend $100 and you use Rum and Cook 100, you add 2 pounds of ground beef in addition to your order, and those 2 pounds of ground beef will be subtracted. You get them for free. If you want 2 pounds of ground beef and 2 free steaks, add 1 package of steaks. There's 2 steaks in a package. Add 2 1-pound packages of ground beef, and then spend $200 and use Rum and Cook 200, and you're gonna get the steaks and the ground beef for free. As I said, I've been eating it for about 4 months at this point in time. I've eaten a ton of it. It is very good, and the price point is good, and I like it because it's grass-fed and then grain-finished, so you still get some marbling, but you've got some high-quality beef. So what we're doing here, we've got our Typer Sync Quad today because I've got 4 steaks here. One of them is going to go back in the fridge, but we'll turn this on. Dun, 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 dun. Right, and these are all going to get reverse seared. I want to get them as close to identical as possible. So we're gonna go right in the middle. All right, so we should be pretty close to each other. We're all in the center. You want it in past the line. What we're gonna do, our Kamado here is locked in at 250 and just went past it, so I'm gonna bump it back a little bit. It does not take a lot of vent movement to adjust your temperatures on one of these guys, so be aware of that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put 4 or 3 of these on our indirect side. We've got a hot side and an indirect side, and we're gonna reverse sear them. So before our temperature runs away on us, we're gonna go just like that, like that, like that. I'll take the other one inside, close this up. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put this inside. Now these have been tempered for about 20 minutes, meaning I put them on the counter. They were in my beer fridge, so they were quite cold. All right, so what that's gonna do is that's gonna allow us to cook up to 115. There's gonna be a little bit of carryover, but because we're at a lower temperature, it's not gonna be crazy. I might pull them off of 112, we'll see. I like mine to finish 130, 135, okay? We need to have time for them to rest, and then we're gonna sear them, and we'll do this guy a little different. But once these guys are done, I'll bring you back and we'll look at this one. As you can probably hear, we're beeping number 3. Needs to be pulled. This guy right here. We're sitting right at 250 still. I pulled it at 116. I need to get the camera rolling. All right, so we've got this guy off. I pulled it off at 116. I had to get the cameras set up first. We're beeping again because the other one's at 113. So when I set it to 115, it's allowing for carryover. So it's trying to tell me to pull it off a little earlier, right? So we just hit 114. So I'm gonna wait. We'll pull it off at 116 because this one was at 116, just to keep them equal. We're at 114.3. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait till it gets up to 116. I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna let the other one, it's at 108. So we're not far behind. And when it's done, then what we'll do is then I'm gonna let them rest, and we'll talk a little bit about how we're gonna do the next stage of our cook. Right, so let's talk the 4th steak. First off, cheers. Getting a little warm outside. So how does this method differ? Well, we're at 445 right now, dome temp. I'm gonna dial it in at 450 and leave it there. But what we're doing, our grate is about this far from our lump. So it's obviously hotter at the grate level. But what we're doing here is we're gonna turn this steak every minute. Gotta sit out here, stopwatch 1 minute, turn it. Stopwatch 1 minute, turn it. And we're gonna cook it until it gets to about 80 degrees. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on the cold side and let it carry over a little bit. And then if it, like 3 minutes, is not where I want it, then I'm gonna sear it 1 more minute or 2 aside, and then we'll be done. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna do this right now. We'll bring you in close and we'll jump through this part. Now, real quick before I forget, one thing, I would normally have tallow or ghee or clarified butter on this. Usually I use a lot of clarified butter. That would aid in this process, but so I don't skew results, we're gonna do it with nothing, okay? All right, so this guy's done. We went about 8 minutes total, 4 minutes per side. We're flipping it every minute. The reason why we're flipping it every minute is to try still get that edge-to-edge pink. Now this is a thin piece of meat. The tomahawk I did was about this thick, and I got edge-to-edge pink, no problem, right? That's the whole reason why people came up with reverse sear. So you can cook up temperature and then sear and you get full edge-to-edge pink. Now the one thing I'll tell you is that I kind of pushed this to 90, then I let it sit off the side for only a couple minutes, and then I put it back on because I wanted to get a little bit better color on it because I don't have anything aiding that. Normally I'd have butter or something on it and it would just sear a little bit nicer. So, you know, we're gonna look at sear, most importantly, we're gonna look at flavor. Because the reason why the tomahawk stood out to me so much is because it was full of flavor from being over top of the lump for so long. So I've opened up our vents now. We're at 550. We're gonna go a little bit more. And our goal is to get up to 600, and then we'll baste the remaining steaks with the, we got ghee, tallow, and mayo. I've actually never tried mayo before, so this will be interesting. And then we'll sear the heck out of them, and then we'll try them. That'll give this guy 15 minutes to rest, and they'll all be at the same temp. All right, so we are at 600 degrees. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, butter, tallow, and mayo. And I'm gonna keep the probes in there because they're good to 932 degrees. So we're fine there. We're at 600 dome temperature. What I'm gonna do, the mayo first now. In full disclosure, I heated up the mayo just like 20 seconds. Just because I'm putting warm butter and tallow on them, I wanted to make sure that it was equal. Don't want anyone calling me out in the comments. And I'll get number 2 with the tallow. Try not to contaminate the other ones. And that's a lot of tallow. That's gonna be good. All right, let's get these guys on. All right, so let's put this on. There we go. We'll go side down too. I want to get this closed because I don't want to go too hot, but we'll do that. A little bit on there. Close it up to stop our flare-ups. And it's only going to take about a minute aside. Again. Ooh. Now we'll do the butter one. All right, so the moment of truth has come. I put them on individual plates so they didn't get contaminated. But we've got number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, butter, ghee, tallow, mayo, and nothing. Just cooked over the coals the entire time. So let's pull these guys apart. These are probably quite hot. Out of curiosity, the probe's got up to about 800 degrees. That's what happens when your hands are greasy. Let's see. I'm gonna take this guy right off here. Just a little bit of bone there. Okay, all right, there's one. I'm gonna take a piece right out of the center here. About the same, really tough to see the color. I mean, the sunlight is quite bright, but that's actually pretty good. You can see how juicy it is. Same here, okay. Try this one, okay, not too bad. And last but not least, now here's our one that was on the sear the entire time. And you can see it's got like 1/8 of an inch of gray. So it's a little bit more than this, but it is not that bad at all, right? You don't have to reverse sear, you just have to cook it properly and you can still get almost edge to edge pink. I want to try the mayo one first because I am quite curious. That's a good piece of steak. They are right, you can't taste the mayo. I was worried about that. I mean, I don't mind mayo, but I don't want it on my steak, really, to be honest. That's a tallow. I can taste the tallow. I use a lot of tallow, so I know exactly what it tastes like. Butter. Again, I use a lot of that, so you can taste just a little bit of it. Let me tell you what I noticed when I was cutting these. This one here, they're all the same cut to meat. This one is more tender. And I noticed it right away. I can feel it when I squeeze it. There's no way for me to get on camera, but this just squeezes way easier than this. I'm not saying this is a tough steak by any means, but I would have never known this until I had them all side by side. But then immediately when I cut this, I could tell that this one was a little bit more tender. So I don't know if that's because we cooked it at a lower temperature and the meat didn't like tighten up as much. But like when I do this, I always rest and then sear. I don't go reverse sear, sear, and then rest, because I think what happens over time, the crust is not as nice. I like the crust the way it is this way. This guy, I can tell, I wish I had used some ghee or tallow or something just to give it a little bit more crust. Flavor-wise, this one you can taste more charcoal. These ones all kind of taste the same with a slight nuance. This one has got some more charcoal flavor and just a little bit more enjoyable. I gotta be honest with you guys, like I've been doing reverse sear for a long time, taught lots of people how to do it. And it is an easy way to cook a steak as long as it's nice and thick. And it turns out a good steak. But it's been a long time since I was really proud of the steak I was cooking that had a bunch of flavor. Like most people are like, oh, it's a really good steak. But if you go out and you have a bunch of steak, you know what a really good steak tastes like, right? And I just wasn't hitting that at home. And then when I read the book by Adam Perry Long, or Adam Long Perry, I think it's Adam Perry Long. I'll put it over here. Charred and Scruffed. I did that tomahawk video and the world changed for me on steak. It was edge to edge pink. It was packed with flavor. It was one of the best steaks I've ever cooked my entire life. This is the same type of thing. It is way more tender than these other guys. Like they're all good steaks. No one is going to say no to this, right? You're not gonna have any unhappy guests, but this is significantly more tender. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself. Thanks as always for watching. Listen, if you wanna see the video where I did the tomahawk, here it is right here. I guarantee you it's gonna change your steak game. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.